Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. This is Aaron Lesher. I'm going to be the host today, and today we're super lucky to have Loida Velasquez here with us to drop some knowledge. Um, the title of this webinar is How to Crush Your Real Estate Agent Commissions in 6 months, and or less was too long, so we dropped that, but 6 months or less would be the full title. And we're just going to get started in a second. And there's going to be more people streaming in as we get started, but we want to respect your time, and we've got stuff to do after this too. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. And Loida, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to speak on real estate, and hopefully everyone takes at least 1 or 2 points from what I say and implements them and helps them in their business.
Awesome. Yeah. So guys, the first, we're going to just spend a couple minutes because I want to learn more about Loida's background and have her share with you guys kind of where she came from and, any lessons she learned from her prior experience and prior jobs. So Loida, was there a point when you were a kid or in school that you kind of realized you had a knack for sales and kind of the art of hustling and calling people up and selling stuff?
When I was younger, it wasn't. It's funny because I was really shy when I was younger. I didn't like to speak in public. I was scared of big crowds. And it wasn't really until I got my first job out of college, I started working for a marketing company doing promotions.
Mm-hmm.
And my job there was to promote a brand, go out, talk to strangers, let them know why they should purchase my brand as to a competitor, and try to encourage them to visit them at the store and purchase that. And it was really then that I realized that I like talking to people, I like promoting, and that's also where I learned and was able to face a lot of rejection of people telling me, no, I'm not interested, or I don't like you guys, the other brand is better. And that's what really kind of prepared me. And I saw that in real estate it was pretty similar because at the same time we're always cold calling, talking to strangers. So I guess you could say that when I was younger, I didn't really know that I was good in sales. It was really after college that I realized that I really liked marketing and advertising, promotions. And I worked for 8 years in that industry, representing high-profile clients, entertainment, automotive, gaming, at events, red carpets, also planning and branding, working on campaigns. For the most part, I was working as a consultant in different projects with different companies. So I like that I would set my own schedule or work certain projects, made money that I liked that was very good for my age, and I didn't know many people my age were making that type of money.
Definitely.
But there was also a point that, and for one of the companies, I was for 3 years traveling 100% of the time, living out of a suitcase from hotel to hotel. And it got to a point that, I was making money, but I wasn't really enjoying my life. And Brian, which is my team leader, Brian Casella, I've known him for a long time. I've known him before he even got into real estate, and I saw the success that he was having. So that's kind of what interested me in getting into real estate, and we spoke about it. And initially, that's how I came into his team, because initially it was just himself. He was becoming really busy with listings. So initially, I came in as a buyer's agent. But I quickly realized that I wanted to go after the listings too.
Definitely.
And I just started training and learning everything. And next thing you know, one day jokingly, I told them, I'm going to be the female version of you, and I'm just going to learn everything. And that's pretty much where we're at now.
That's awesome. Yeah, you read my mind because I was going to ask you how you got connected with Brian, and I'm familiar with his YouTube channel and seen some of his videos. He's got really good information to share, and you guys are growing really rapidly. And you also touched on how you kind of got into real estate as well. I wanted to go back to one thing that you mentioned that a couple of people emailed me about before the webinar, and that you mentioned, and that's the the fear of rejection or the getting over that and having that mindset to where it just you've got a thick skin, it just rolls right off your back. And that's so I feel like that's so, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's so critical and important in real estate is that you just have to keep moving on, and you're going to hear a lot of no's before you hear yeses. Is that fair to say?
Yes, definitely. I feel that especially in sales and in real estate, you have to have a strong mindset to be able to get those no's, get those people to tell you, stop calling me, I hate realtors, you guys are all annoying, leave me alone, but not let that affect you. Because it's happened many times where I have 5, 6 people in a row just tell me that over the phone, and then the next person that I speak to, they want to sell their $1 million property, and we end up listing it. So you just kind of always have to stay positive and not let that affect you. And that's something that I learned very quickly going into this business, that you have to stay focused no matter what people tell you or no matter what you hear over the phone, because rejection, it's inevitable. And we're always going to have people tell us that to leave them alone or stop calling them, they don't like you, I want to sell the house myself. But we have to stay focused and let them see, I'm bringing value to you. In the end, I'm just trying to help you.
Right.
And if I can do that and deliver the results that you're looking for, isn't it fair enough for you to give me at least a shot to see what I'm all about?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty powerful. So when you're kind of down, when you've, like you said, when you've just got 6 no's in a row on the phone, what's the thing you tell yourself? You just tell yourself, I know that I'm doing a good job. I know that I can bring value to someone that needs it. Is that kind of what is going through your head?
Yeah, and usually what happens most of the time when I get 6 no's in a row, or I'm just getting people that are irritated all day, it just gets me more excited because I know I'm that much closer to that person that's going to tell me, yes, let's meet tomorrow, I want to sell my house. So that I turn it around. I go from negative to positive because awesome. I know somebody out there is going to listen to me, and we're going to make something happen.
Exactly. That's awesome. So every no you get, you're just closer. You're just one more no closer to yes, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Because in this business, you're going to get so many no's, you can't let that affect you. Let's say you get 6 no's in a row. If I just hang up the phone and call it a day, that's not going to get me a paycheck. I'm not going to get any much closer to making a sale or finding a buyer or a seller. So you just have to stay focused. I have a goal. Okay, today I want to talk to 50 people. Okay. I know I want to get a listing this month, and I'm going to do whatever it takes, whether people want to talk to me or not.
That's awesome. So before we started the webinar, we were going down this road, and I told you to stop talking because you were giving so much good information that I didn't want to spoil it. But can you walk us through your day from when you wake up to kind of when you go to bed, and just walk us through what you're spending the most time on, what you see the most value of your where your time is spent most valuably, and then also moving forward from that, where like the different sources that you're constantly looking at to get your leads.
Okay, yeah. So I wake up around 5:30. I go to the gym, work out. Usually I get home around 6:30, change, eat breakfast. I'm on the road to the office around 7:15, 7:20. And Monday through Friday from 7:30 until 8 o'clock, I'm role-playing with different agents all over the country. And what we role-play is for sell-by-owner objections, expired objections, listing presentation objections, pretty much anything that we always hear that someone tells us over the phone, I'm role-playing. And it's happened many times that when I do start my day, which starts at 8, I start calling from 8 to around 12 is when I start prospecting. I start first with the expireds. Then when I'm done with the new expireds, I move on to the for sale by owners. Then I move on to previous older expireds that I didn't get a chance to connect with. And I finish usually with just random phone calls. And I usually start like that. I start at 8 with the expireds because the expireds, of course, are homes and owners that had their home for sale. One reason or another, it didn't sell. Mm-hmm. Many of them are still looking to make the move. They need to sell their house. Perhaps they have a job transfer.
Right.
The last agent that they had, unfortunately, didn't perform or didn't do their job. So if I'm one of the first people that can get in touch with them and share with them the I bring with my team in getting them the results that they're looking for, I want to set the appointment right there that morning for maybe that evening or the next day.
Uh-huh.
And starting at 8 o'clock is crucial because let's say I start at 9 o'clock, just the same thing that I'm telling you now, there's hundreds of agents that are thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the longer I wait, let's say I start at 9 o'clock, by that time perhaps these expireds have already gotten 5, 6, 7 calls. So by the time that I call, they're probably going to tell me, oh, you're like the 10th agent or you're the 100th agent that has called me.
Right.
I'm not interested. Or they're probably not going to answer the phone.
Yeah.
So usually that's what's prospecting from 8 a.m. till around noon. Also, if I'm not at the phones, I'll usually go out and door knock the expireds because many times it's better to have a face-to-face interaction than over the phone. I'm just hearing their voice, but if they're able to at least meet me in person and listen to what I have to say, they're more likely to want to continue talking to me or build a relationship. And when they do feel that they're ready to put their house back on the market, I'll be one of the first person that comes to their mind. So prospecting is from 8 till about 11:30, 12. Then after that is lunch. Around 1 to 1:30 is usually when I start follow-up. So any potential leads that I have had or that I made the day before or that previous week or whoever I need to follow up with that I know is a hot lead, which is someone that's looking to do something in 30 days or less, I'll give them a call and I'll follow up with them usually in the afternoon. So afternoons are set for follow-up and appointments. That way, like I mentioned, prospecting is in the morning because without prospecting, you're not going to get any leads, and prospecting is what's going to get you those listings or those buyers. So in the morning, that's when you want to get it out of the way. You never know if in the afternoon you might have an appointment you have to go to. If you say you want to make 50 contacts or 30 contacts, usually contacts are people that I have had conversation with, and I told them that I'm a real estate agent. Are you looking to buy or sell? Do you know anyone that's looking to buy or sell? So as long as they know that I'm a real estate agent and I'm there to offer services, I count those as a contact.
Okay.
So usually I want to get around 30, 40 in the morning. Usually it'll take all day, but I want to get as much as I can between 8 and 12. That way if something comes up in the afternoon, I know that I did as much as I could in the morning. So afternoons, lead follow-up appointments, then usually around 6 o'clock till around 7:30. Any expireds that I didn't get a hold of in the morning, I'll call them back again in the evening. So usually I don't finish until maybe around 7:30, 8.
Okay.
Then I get home, kind of do like a little summary of how my day went or write down any important leads or any people that I know I need to talk to immediately or give them a phone call or send them a thank you note through the mail or just go door knock in general. So pretty much after that, I kind of plan my day for the next day, and I don't go to sleep till around maybe 10:30, 11, and then I start all over the next day.
Damn, that's a pretty packed schedule, Loida. I have a ton of questions, and guys, also, and I forgot to mention this. If you have a question that we don't cover during the webinar, there's a section on your screen where you can enter a question. And what we're going to do is we've set aside about 15 minutes at the end of our discussion to go through questions that we didn't cover. So if you think of something and you haven't heard the answer yet, make sure to jot that down in the question area, and we'll try our best to get to that. So there's just a couple questions when you were going through that that I wanted to cover a little bit further. You set aside a part of each day to do role playing, and obviously it seems like you think that that's pretty important, that you can actually practice different types of objections and different kinds of situations before you actually encounter them, so you can be the most successful, right? For an agent that's just starting out, what resource can I go to practice with other agents? Because you said, you were practicing with agents across the country. How would I, if I just wanted to start doing that as part of my daily routine, how would I do that?
Yeah. So if you are part of an office, I'm sure there are other agents in your office. You guys are probably all in the same boat. You have your scripts. You could just role play with each other. I have agents throughout the country because I've been able to connect with other agents, and they reach out and tell me, hey, Loida, I'm looking to role play, already pretty advanced, intermediate. Do you have some time? And if I have a day open, then yeah, we set it up. And usually that's how I've been able to set up pretty much every day. And role playing is so important because I feel that until I started role playing, that's really when I started to get very confident, not just on the phone, but in person. Because it almost felt like I knew exactly what they were going to tell me, any objection that they were going to tell me. I probably had already rehearsed it with my role play partner to the point that I know it just comes out naturally for me what to say next. So it's just like a professional athlete. They get paid millions. What do they do before the game? They practice. So the same way we want to get paid that big money, so it only makes sense for us to practice the objections and that we know exactly what to expect.
That's awesome. And so where, I guess, where are you getting scripts from a certain source, or are you coming up with them on your own? Or are you just working with other agents in your office to kind of tweak them and change them and edit them for your particular circumstance or experience, or how are you coming up with those?
So there's a real estate training coach, Kevin Ward. He's the one that I've been practicing pretty much the scripts. He's the one that was Brian's coach and the one that I just pretty much learned everything from. So Kevin Ward, which is similar to Mike Ferry. Anyone that's in real estate knows those names. But yeah, pretty much those are the scripts. Everything that I have ever mentioned in my YouTube videos or that I use, objection handlers, those are the ones that I use from Kevin Ward. And I like those because they're very straightforward, and something that I don't do, that I don't like to do, is BS whoever I'm speaking to. And those scripts are no BS, which is what you want to be as an agent. Because there's been many times, in fact, I'm following up with a for sale by owner. They ended up taking their house off of Zillow, and I've been following up with him, and I told him, hey, what happened? I saw that you took it off. And she told me, yeah, I just was really unhappy with the behavior of the realtors. And then I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What were they telling you? And then she just straight out told me, they were just BSing me, telling me that they had a buyer when they didn't, or they just wanted to come and preview the house. Right. And that is something that I preach for anyone, whether you're new or a veteran. Just be straightforward and honest. I told her from the beginning, no, I'm not calling to tell you that I have a buyer. I'm not going to lie to you. However, I do want to help you. So now, because I was straightforward and honest with her in the beginning, now I'm the only one that's following up, and she's already built a sense of trust with me. Right. So if she does want to continue to possibly get the home sold, then I'm going to be able to set up an appointment with her. And the best part is that her property is worth over $1 million. So I know I'm going to get a good commission check from that. So just being honest and straightforward, that's going to get you the first.
Yeah, definitely. And that's like, it sounds like such an obvious suggestion or a piece of advice, but a lot of people get caught up in, trying to, I guess, appear like they're, the best or the most successful agent, and maybe they're not there yet, but just being honest sometimes is the most powerful method, right?
Yeah, definitely, with whoever you're speaking to, because there's many clients that we have ended up listing, and one of the things that they all bring up is that, we felt very comfortable with you. You guys were really honest. You weren't pushy, and it actually seemed like you care. In fact, right now we have a listing, and the seller had met with other realtors. Obviously, they ended up going with us, but he actually told us, one of the agents left the house mad because I didn't sign. And I just think that's really professional. Even if you don't get a listing signed, don't show that emotion in front of a client, because then obviously they're going to see all you want is a listing and not really looking for the best interest in what they want.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's super valuable. Another thing that you were talking about in your kind of overview of your daily routine was that you spend time every day or almost every day going door to door and talking with potential leads. And for a lot of people, I know me in particular, although like we said, I'm not a real estate agent, but that idea of knocking on someone's door and talking to a stranger and trying to sell them something or your relationship can be super scary. So I just kind of wanted to see what your mindset was and see what goes to your head when you are, walking up to a door and about to knock on it and, may get someone that's not the most excited to see you. What things are you telling yourself to fire you up and just get you ready to hustle?
One of the things that I tell myself as I'm walking up is that this person might want to sell their home and I'm going to be the one that's going to list it. As I'm walking up, I can already kind of just take a look at the grass in the front and go, okay, this sign will look good right here. So let's knock on the door, see how long they've been here. I don't want to come off like a salesperson, so I'm there to give value to them. Let's say they did come off the market as an expired. I want to find out what happened, what the activity was like on their home, if they still have plans to move. If they do or something changed, maybe there was a divorce or you know what, I'm going to wait until the kids get out of school in the summer, so try back again.
Sure.
I want to just build that relationship and not seem like, oh, here's just another agent. They want to sell my house, but they don't really care what it is that I want to do. So it's just having that mindset that, I'm coming up to join them. I expect them to be nice to me because you usually get what you expect. And I'm always smiling, and I say, hello, hey, how's it going? You're the owner, yes? And for the most part, I always get everyone that's nice to me. I've never gotten somebody that's rude. And I think that's what a lot of people are scared of when it comes to door knocking, that they might get people that just tell them, get off my porch, or I don't want you here. And it's been very, very rare occasions when that has happened. So unless you have to have that mindset that, the person might want to buy or sell or maybe their sister or their brother. There's many times that I door knocked the person that's lived there for over 40 years and they tell me everyone's story about the neighborhood and they tell me, you know what, my front door neighbor, they actually want to sell, so you guys should go door knock them.
Awesome.
The name is Jennifer. So you never know. And you just always have to stay positive and know that you should always expect someone to either want to buy or sell and not see it negatively, like, oh, I'm here door knocking, I'm bothering them. No, I'm not bothering them. I'm giving them service and value, and if they want to take it, great. If they don't, I'm going to move on and maybe the next one will.
Sure. That's super powerful. So you already know something about them. You know that they have at one point in the recent past wanted to make a change, and you're just offering a service, and if they don't need you at that particular time, that's fine. There's plenty of other fish in the sea, I guess. That's really strong, and I think that mindset, that positive mindset, can help some people get over that fear. So we've covered some really awesome stuff so far. I want to get into some numbers and just talk about how many people you're calling per day or how many new people you're contacting per day, and then also with people that you've contacted, how many times you're making an effort to follow up with them and what system you have to track that.
Okay. Yes. So every day minimum, I try to have conversations with at least 35 up to 50 people. That is my goal. And for some of the listeners, that may be a lot, but that's a goal that I set because I know that that's what's going to take me to be able to do as many listens as I have set myself to do. Mm-hmm. So usually, like I said, 35 to 50. The way that I track them, so we do have a system on Vulcan 7. That's what we use for expires. And I'm able to track there exactly. When I first talked to them, I could put them into folders as a hot lead, cold lead or just someone that they're not really worth my time to pursue. And something that I did in the beginning before we had that system is just, a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, the name, the phone number, the address. If I'm able to get an email from them, I put it on there, and then I just have a notes section in the end. So let's say, okay, Jennifer told me she wants to sell in 3 months. So now I know, okay, I have to keep on calling her maybe once every 3 weeks or maybe a month. Send her something on the mail. Hey, thank you, Jennifer. It was great talking to you. I'm here to help you. And that's usually how I follow up with them. But for any leads, it usually takes about 5 to 8 follow-up calls before you actually set an appointment. Many times they will be ready on the first call, but let's say you are calling for sale by owners or expireds, they're always going to give you the runaround. Oh, I'm not ready yet. I'm still thinking about it. Give me a call back in 2 weeks. And it's your job to stay on top of them. And just when they see the phone ringing, oh, it's Loida again, it's that agent. But now they know you're that agent.
Yeah.
And you're always going to be there. And if I'm the only one following up, for example, for sale by owners, usually it takes about 5 phone calls. That's what I noticed. There was one that I was chasing down for like almost 3 months. They finally listed. But it got to the point that I was the only one talking to them. And it's funny because when we met, they were like, yeah, you know what, Loida, everyone called me the first day that was on Zillow. And they all said they were going to follow up with me, but you're the only one that actually followed up with me. So that's why we're here. So follow-up, I kind of stress how important that is because that's really going to take you to the next level and allow you to set the appointments and go on these listing appointments and be the only one pretty much. Because when you're the only one, you don't have a competition or other agents you need to be competing with, and you can say it's pretty much yours if you build that trust with the person. So that's usually the Excel spreadsheet is how I keep track on that. I also have this notebook here. It's just plain and simple. Every day I put the pen and I just put the date on the top. So let's say today, August 3rd. Any lead that I get, I write it down. And then that way I could just see it physically and then also type it in.
Right.
Because that's the type of person that I am. I like to actually write things down, and then tomorrow I could just look back on the date, and if I ever see a property that the address looks familiar, I know exactly when I first talked to them or wrote them down in my notebook, and I can just say, hey, I talked with you back in July 5th. Just wanted to see how it's going and things like that.
Yeah. So kind of what I'm getting out of this is you can use a really fancy system. You can use something as simple as an Excel spreadsheet or a notebook, as long as you have some method of writing it down physically or typing it in and just keeping track of it and making sure that, have you ever gotten a listing from the first phone call you've made or first meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a listing. It was a for sale by owner. I called them at 10 in the morning. We ended up meeting that same evening and listed that day.
But would you say
so it happens.
Would you say most of your listings are from when you get the listing? Is that from someone you followed up with or someone you've just made one contact with?
Most of them are from follow-up.
Yeah. And so you definitely have to have some kind of process where you're managing that and on top of it to make sure you're getting the most listings. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's very rare. It will happen. It has happened where it just takes that one phone call in the morning and then you're meeting and signing papers in the evening.
Yeah.
But the person has to be really motivated, and for the most part, sellers are motivated, but it usually takes a few phone calls before you actually set the appointment or set the meeting.
Sure.
And at the same time, like I said, it comes down to the motivation of the seller, because we also want to do our homework. So what I do, I pre-qualify them, and that's something that I want to make sure that everyone listening is here. In order for you guys to not waste time going on listing appointments, not getting them, pre-qualifying is extremely important, because you want to make sure and ask questions. Let's say you're talking to a seller, okay, where will you be moving to next? How much do you own the property? What happens if the home doesn't sell? Things like that. Are all the decision makers going to be there when we meet? That's one of the key questions. You want to make sure that all the decision makers are going to be there, because every single factor that you can control in order for everything to go in your favor, you have to control. You can't control whether or not, you put the home on the market and it turns out that a family member is getting a divorce so they can no longer sell, or somebody passed away. But anything you can't control, you must, and pre-qualifying is the key for that.
That's awesome. I'm just looking through our list of viewer questions, and we've got tons. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through some rapid fire stuff I have here, and also if you don't want to answer, feel free to defer. It won't hurt my feelings. We'll do some rapid fire, and then we'll wrap up our discussion, and then I'll just kind of go through some of these questions that I'm seeing in our Q&A bucket. So my first one is with the YouTube videos. You started your YouTube channel to kind of build a following there and share some of your strategies, and I've watched a lot of your YouTube videos. They're great. You see that as just like a passion or side project, or a legitimate way to build your business strategy, or as a business strategy?
Well, both. When I first started, just like anyone that has found me, I was looking on YouTube for any newer agents or what their experience was, or just anything that I could find to give me an insight on how or what I could expect going into real estate. So that's kind of why I decided to start my channel. And at the same time, all the information that I put out, just like I said in the beginning, nothing that I say or do with my clients is BS, and you'll come across many people, whether it's buyers or sellers, that are kind of skeptical or don't want to work with an agent because they have had a bad experience before, where the agent was shady or they hid some information. So I wanted to make these videos to educate and inform these future agents. Look, this is the system that works. This is how you should be in order to be a successful agent that's respected in this field. So that is why, one of the reasons why I created all those videos. And at the same time, I figured I would be able to establish myself in any agent, let's say wherever it is anyone's at, in California or in the US. If they knew someone moving to my area, they could send them to me. I know Loida's going to take care of them. She's going to sell their home for top dollar, or she's going to help them buy their home and get their offer accepted when there's multiple offer situation. So I wanted to stand up and be that person. Having my YouTube channel has also allowed me to reach people that perhaps I would have never been able to reach. And there's been a few occasions where just random viewers who happen to be in my area just sending a message, hey, Loida, you know what? I'm a first-time home buyer. I'm in the LA area. I would love for you to help me buy my first house.
That's awesome.
So I've been able to get business like that as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. I wish we had more time to talk about that in particular, because that's really interesting new channel of kind of spreading your network and also acquiring business. Who's your biggest mentor in the industry, or your biggest influence, would you say?
In my industry, where Mike Curry is one of the ones that we always look up to. He's been doing real estate a long time, and that's definitely, I have this book here. I definitely recommend it, How to Develop a Six-Figure Income in Real Estate, and this is pretty much the handbook. Everything that it talks about is exactly what my team and I do that have implemented, that has made us successful, because it doesn't beat around the bush. It's pretty much straightforward. You prospect, you follow up, you convert your leads. And so Mike Curry is definitely one of the most influential people. For sales, Grant Cardone, every time that I watch any of his videos, the videos online, I get just inspired to go out and just hustle and do as much as I can. Regarding mindset, someone that's a very influential, Tony Robbins. Anytime that, there's so many things that limit us, just like we were talking about earlier, rejection. when you think, oh my gosh, what are they going to reject me? That limits you to want to go out there. But when you change your mindset, you're completely free and you don't have this thing holding you back from what your possible success could be and whatever it is that you're doing.
Awesome. That's super good stuff. Do you have a book other than the Mike Ferry book that you showed me that's your favorite real estate book?
For right now, this is pretty much the best one
The Bible.
that I would suggest everyone. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Sweet. We'll send a link out to that and some other stuff that we've mentioned, specific things, when we send this completed video out in a couple days for everybody, just so you know. So if you forget or you haven't written it down and you haven't read the book, we'll be sending out a link to where you could get something like that. What's your so you use your notebook, you use Excel. What is your favorite tool, or if it's an app, what's your favorite app for agents that helps you do your job better?
In terms of tracking?
It could be tracking. It could be just a service, like Zillow, or if you use a lead prospecting service or a CRM. If you have something that you use that you're really passionate about, if you could share that with us.
Well, pretty much in order to keep track of everything, and I know especially anyone that's brand new in the business, it can get expensive if you do go out and purchase these services or these CRMs. But just the old school Excel spreadsheet of the notebook, as long as you stay organized, that's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I do want to make sure that anyone out there that does get leads, or in order to stay organized, you want to break down your leads into 3 groups. Your hot leads, anyone looking to do something 30 days or less, you want to put them in one tab. Anyone looking to do something after between 30 days and 60 days, put them in a separate tab. And anyone looking to do something between 90 and further down the road, you want to put it in a different tab. That way you know who you need to be talking to consistently, which is the first one, here and there, the second one, and then someone when you need to be calling them maybe once a month, or send them a mailer, or just stay on top of their mind, which are the ones that are going to be doing something maybe in a year. So just breaking down and organizing your leads is going to help you as well, because the last thing you want to do is not stay in contact with somebody. You drive by, you see a sign in the yard from your competitor.
So you're pretty old school. So what's your commission goal, or your big 3 goals that you've set for 2016? If you could share.
So far, just myself, pretty much last year, it was just more learning and training. I was able to do a lot of stuff as a team, but now it was pretty much this year, starting January, that I have had and build that confidence to be able to get the listings. So far, 6 this year. I want to have at least 1 every month, so up to 12. Next year, double that. And just pretty much it comes down to getting the listings. So the commission numbers really vary. It can be a property between 200,000 or up to $1 million. So for me, it's just really getting 15 listings this year until 15, and then doubling and just continuing to grow it like that.
Mm-hmm. So double every year is kind of what you want to do.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So in a really short amount of time, you've gotten started, and you're getting listings and closing, and sounds like you've built a really robust foundation to create success. And sometimes the success doesn't happen immediately, but it sounds like you've got a really strong foundation. Can you share with us your proudest moment as a real estate agent so far, and your biggest commission check?
Yeah, so going back to getting the 6 no's in a row and getting all those rude people over the phone, earlier this year, that's exactly what was going on. And then I called an expired, a pretty older gentleman. He had been on the market for about 345 days.
Wow.
Came off the market unsold. I called him, And he's like, oh, I hate agents. You guys are all the same and blah, blah, blah. And something that I feel that I do that most agents don't do is listen to what the person is telling me and just kind of relate to them and not just be like, okay, well, do you want to sell your house? But actually care. So I continued the conversation and I told him, oh, I'm sorry about that. If the home had sold, what were your original plans? And he told me he wanted to downsize. He had over a 3,000 square foot home. That's the one that I told you guys. It was right under $1 million. And we actually ended up representing both the buyer and the seller.
Nice.
So the commission on that was $57,000. That's probably the biggest commission so far this year.
That's pretty nice.
So after that,
see that?
Yeah. So it's like I got a whole bunch of no's, and then I got him, and that commission was probably someone's year salary, and that just motivates you. And the next call, it's like I hung up with him, I set the appointment, and now I just have that energy back again. Okay, I want to make 5 more calls today, or as many calls as I can, because what if I get another person like this? So you just have to see the positive in things. Yeah, you're going to get people that are rude, but at the same time, you might get a $57,000 paycheck out of a person that actually wants to sell.
Yeah. That's awesome. And we mentioned before, but it was like, every no is just one no closer to your next yes. And so that's why it's important just to kind of have that number of calls or number of door knocks or number of emails, whatever, whatever medium you're using, and just keep hammering that. That's the most important part, is just, it's a numbers game. So that's awesome.
And one more thing that I do want to add, it is a numbers game. And especially if you're new in the beginning, you might feel like you're doing so many calls and knocking on so many doors and you're not getting any results, but it's going to come back. And I say that, and that's why, unfortunately, a lot of agents quit, because they don't see those results, or it's like, okay, I made 100 calls this week, but I didn't get anything, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
The system does work. There's a lot of agents, top producers that have done it, so it's not like we're reinventing the wheel. We're doing what other people have done.
Yeah.
It's just you have to have patience and believe that what you're doing and the work that you're putting in is going to give you results.
That's awesome. So we're going to jump into some questions, and I'm just going to go through the questions and ask you, and you can just give the dirty response however you see fit. So the first one is from Jeff Macy, and he asks, how do you filter the phone numbers when cold calling using Mojo? Do you check the phone numbers aren't on the DNCL, or I guess do not call list, or do you just call every number?
I just call every number. And I get that question all the time too, but I just call every number. If they tell me, oh, I'm not on the do not call list, I just say, oh, I'm sorry about that. I'll make sure to take you off my list. And sometimes I do go on and ask them questions. Well, since I got you, before I let you go, have you bumped into anyone recently that has mentioned they're looking to buy or sell a home? And it's happened many times that they're like, oh, yeah, actually, I do have another property that I want to sell. So don't get discouraged, or don't think like, oh, what if they're in the do not call list? What if I'm bothering them? Just call through. If you get a rude person, just click next. You don't have to listen to any of their yelling or anything like that. Just move on.
Just move on. But you never know if they are. It could turn into a meeting and a listing. Awesome. Roberto asks, how do you do drip campaigns, and what software do you do? Thanks.
Yeah. So something that we use is Constant Contact. That's what we use for our mailers and to send out emails. Also on Vulcan 7, which is a service that we use to get expires, they have that feature on there as well. So those are pretty much the only two.
Nice. Wow, we've got so many questions.
We have to do a part 2 for this.
Yeah, we may have to do a part 2, and I'm counting like 30 or 40 questions in here, which is just nuts. And what we may do, guys, is I can save some of these ones that we don't get to, because we only have time for 3 or 4 more. And if Loida has the time, I know she's super busy, as you guys know, but if she has the time, what I would do is just ask her to pick out some, and we can send that out in a couple days, send out her answers. So we're only going to do 3 or 4 more. If we don't get to yours, I'm really sorry. I wish we had time to answer everybody's, but if we get a chance, we're going to send out some answers to the ones we didn't get to in a couple days. So Mercedes asks, as a new agent, do you suggest to join a team or go out on your own?
Okay. Well, as a new agent, if you're looking for help or if you feel that, I need the guidance to be able to learn the systems and know what I'm doing, then definitely a team would work for you. I came into a team and it's helped me tremendously. If you're the type of person that, you just want to learn by yourself and you're going to do whatever it takes to go out there and just hustle and, door knock, if you can hold yourself accountable that you're actually going to do it, then you can go by yourself. But ultimately, it will come down to you and what you feel more comfortable with. Maybe in the beginning, you do want to start as part of a team and do what the top producers have already done and just kind of follow and learn from them. Let's say you do get a listing, you have the expert there that can guide you through the process, as opposed to you possibly just learning yourself or trying to do things on your own. So ultimately it comes down to you. It doesn't hurt. It just comes down to your personal preference and what your goals are. If you want to do it yourself or be a part of a team in the beginning.
Awesome. Danny asks, hi Loida, can we join your role sessions every morning? So I guess is there a way to join in or kind of get in line to do a role playing session with you, or is that a closed group?
You could just send me a message. Go on my website and just send me a message, and we can go from there.
Sweet. Awesome. All right, we'll do two more here. Lupe asks, do you think fear comes from feeling insecure, or is it something you just have to buckle down and ignore?
Fear, I think, ultimately it comes down to you just buckling down and ignoring it, but I think that it comes from you not being confident or thinking that what if I don't know what I'm doing or what I'm saying? Because when you're confident, it comes across and the fear is gone. When I first started, I was scared and I was always thinking, what if they're going to reject me, or what if they're going to tell me no, or what if I mess up and I say the wrong thing? But that's why role playing and just practicing your scripts and just learning everything that comes with being an agent, that's what really is going to prepare you and take you to the next level, so that fear goes away and you feel confident and comfortable no matter who it is that you're speaking with. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of practice, and it does take some time. So if you are scared or have fear right now, it's completely normal. We've all been there. And in time, you're going to get to that level that you're going to think, okay, I'm good. I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm talking about. And I know that I'm the best agent to help Mr. Seller or Mr. Buyer. Yeah.
So the more you practice, your fear is just going to go away and decrease. This is from Michelle Rose. She says, did you take the 100-day List Master Challenge with Kevin Ward? Any thoughts?
No, I didn't take that, but I know Brian has in the past, and a few other of our friends have done it, and I heard it's great. He is a great coach. I would recommend him. But I never did the 100-day Master Challenge.
Awesome. Okay, so this is going to be our last one for today. Roberto has another question. He says, how many appointments were you able to set per week when you first began calling expireds and FSBOs? What would be a realistic goal?
In the beginning, when I first started, I wasn't really setting any. And like I said, it's all a learning experience, because in the beginning, you perhaps have your scripts in front of you, but you don't know what to expect the people to tell you. So it wasn't really up until late last year, after I had started role playing, that I was able to start getting appointments. Now it's getting to the point that I'm setting appointments pretty much every other day.
Nice.
But it's because I'm confident and comfortable in speaking with whoever it is, any type of personality, and whatever objections that may throw me. I have rehearsed it enough times to know exactly what to say and how to lead the conversation by listening to them in order to set the appointment. So realistically, in the beginning, it might be that you are setting appointments, but don't be discouraged if you're not set any. I recently made a video that I posted, and I said, in the beginning, you feel like you want to give up because you're not setting appointments, you're making all these calls, you're not getting any listings, and you're kind of thinking like, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. But it's just through constant practice and role playing and just learning your stuff and watching videos that's really what's going to take you and prepare you so that when you do start sending those appointments, they just come snowballing.
Awesome. Well, again, guys, I wish we could get to all of your questions, and thank you so much for being engaged and asking those. And the ones we did cover were really good, and I'm glad that Loida got the chance to answer. We're going to wrap it up for today, but I just want to thank everyone for joining us and hope you got some nuggets out of it. I thought Loida knocked it out of the park. She gave some really, really good tips and strategies, and I hope you'll come back and we'll do something else in the future. And hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
All right, bye, guys.